Hi all, Rick here. Ancient lore, ancient lore, ancient lore. Ancient buried alien technology that hints at immortality in the path of Dr. Roger Corby. This is right down the alleyways I like to frequent. That sounded worse out loud. So, I thought for this week's Strange New Worlds related topic, instead of covering the lore and fate of Corby, I can't resist but speculate on what we found in episode 5. Spoilers ahead. So, we know the unfortunate fate of Roger Corby, in that under a year's time he follows his pursuit of forgotten immortality tech to XO3, where he uncovers the android replicating technology there before losing his life to the harsh climate and replacing himself with such a duplicate. This lasts until the Enterprise under Kirk's command arrives in 2266 to uncover the truth of his ill fate. But in the meantime, we get a lot of backstory and details added to his path leading up to this, and it's very interesting to see. It looks like the species he may have been tracking down might indeed still be the old ones mentioned as the creators of the XO3 technology, and that they had several experiments going to try to become immortal. While one was the android replication, the subject of this episode, some form of quantum-phased existence, appears to have not worked out for them either. I believe that the malevolent species we find in this episode is not the same one that Corby is trailing. In fact, the point is made that it feels more like these interlopers, these parasites, the Vezda creatures, were unintentionally brought over to our reality, or seized the opportunity to reach in. The ruin was uncovered on the planet Vadia IX, which has been mentioned before by Trelane as the old Homeworld, which, if he is referring to his own people, then could be the origin of the Q before they were, well, all Continuum-y. This means that we are dealing with a truly ancient species here, but no guarantee that the Q are any more involved. After all, in Star Trek, the Voth were making their home on Earth before humans existed, and they moved on, so just because the planet once supported early Q does not mean that it was not privy to others. After all, it seems that the very corporeal Macroon now call Vadia home, but have some deep questions about their origins. The Macroon also recognise the statue in the ruined prison as Vezda Pah, so clearly whatever unfolded here has since turned into their mythology. Whoever these ancients were, we have two distinct cultures at play here. The as yet unknown creators of the prison, the ones that Corby has been tracking, and the Vezda entities trapped within. Both are old, but it seems that the Vezda are the older, non-corporeal beings that can possess others, killing them outright and taking over their minds and bodies. They also exhibit strong telepathic abilities, able to read the minds and past of others around them and manipulating them with the puppeteering of their host. They could also render themselves impervious to force fields, and although the one possessing Gamble was able to snap a man's neck, he was still able to be driven off in combat and preferred to grab a phaser whenever he could. It seems like they could push their host's body to its limits, but were still bound by it. On top of this, Pelia, the Lanthanite, felt wrong in the presence of these beings, saying that they felt older than anything she knew, and Pelia is around 2,000 years old. The Gorn, too, seem genetically predisposed to fear or wish harm to these Vezda. Marie Battelle has been receiving the gradual merging of host Gorn DNA to save her life, and Spock has the echoes of the Gorn hatchling still in his mind from the mind meld. Both reacted with hostility and fear towards these beings. Marie later clarifying that she felt an overwhelming urge to eradicate the Vezda like you would a plague or invasive species. This draws on some interesting ideas concerning the Gorn too. There have long been theories, spawned by beta canon lore, that the Gorn may be extradimensional or extragalactic in origin, perhaps even a genetically engineered species. You can check out my old Gorn Cultural Index for more, and the follow-up too, because you're a nice person. There are so many threads being pulled at here. Switching back to the species Corby is following, those seeking immortality, he had found hints that they were not only an interstellar empire now long extinct, but possibly also extragalactic in origin. This would place them among the most advanced species ever discovered by the Federation, eclipsing the Iconian galaxy-spanning gates, the Takon's ability to forge solar systems, or even Vaja's existence. So here's my theory. These would-be immortals are some of the earliest life in the galaxy, and they arrive in the Milky Way and begin to colonize and set up their experiments on numerous planets, including Vadia IX, XO3, Praetorian, and Polaris 12. One experiment, however, lets something into our reality, the Vezda from a realm beyond, and they are genuinely evil. In an effort to contain them, the Old Ones create the Gorn to hunt and cull the possessed, a reptilian army of predators. The Vezda are eventually captured and contained, imprisoned on Vadia IX, and the Gorn break away to become their own thing. Meanwhile, the Old Ones continue their quest for immortality, and the whole thing fades into myth. Perhaps these Old Ones do go on to succeed in their quantum evolution and change into the Q. Perhaps not, and they become the Macroon. I mean, it could even be the Aratans, the ancestors who seeded Vulcan. I think that's still ambiguous, but there are faded connections here. But what exactly are the Vezda lifeforms? Well, they could be something we have encountered before, or a completely new addition. I suspect the latter, but one species that we know of already fits a lot of the labels. The Pah-wraiths. The elements that coincide are the sheer malevolence for the sake of it, the desire to destroy and ruin, as well as the coloration of the energy forms that we see. Outside of this, we have the fact that they are beings that have emerged from a different reality, one where time may not flow from cause to effect, beyond a linear existence. The fact that they possess people too is very in keeping with them. I also spotted this symbol on the control table that resembles the celestial temple icon of Bajoran faith. However, there are things that do not fit. Firstly, the Pah-wraiths show a predilection for fire and fiery effects. Their possession does not render the host brain dead, and they exhibit telekinesis, but no telepathy. This is what leads me to think that these are not Pah-wraiths, but nonetheless, I thought the similarity is worth drawing attention to, as both these and the Prophets are beings that dwell beyond regular space-time. Of course, if they are Pah-wraiths, then I think we'd never get them identified directly as such on screen. I will mention that while looking to confirm it was Vadia IX that was in the show, I found a Reddit thread on Daystream Institute by Chaos Works that highlighted the words Vezda Pah and pointed out that the Pah meaning spirit in Bajoran and Vezda we learn is evil in Macroon. Either way, I've long been a fan when Star Trek begins delving into this deep history lore with gods and myth, creation legends of species, the ancient colonists of different worlds, and grand interstellar technologies now lost to time. The Star Trek galaxy is massive and ancient, and the parts we see? That is merely the bit parts of a cosmically young group of actors entering into a universal stage that has forgotten more than can be catalogued by the Federation. I look forward to delving into this ancient lore, and for the first time I'm not going to say it's the Iconians. While this is all very speculatory at this time, you can bet I'll draw up a full lore video when we've got all the answers. Thanks for watching. I've been Rick, and goodbye.